Hello my dear students, I am before you again to show my magic with grammar trick. I am Ranjan sir. Now I am going to teach you today voice change. Voice change, as you know, is one of the important topics of English grammar. It's an important part of school syllabus, particularly of English language, that it becomes an integral part of school curriculum, be it CBSE, ICSE, West Bengal Board of Secondary Education, or any state board from primary to secondary level, and even in many competitive exams like SSC. Sometimes it comes in the form of spotting errors, correcting errors, or fill in the blanks, and sometimes directly as change the voice. So, why to waste time? Follow me. As it is so much an impact that if you follow my video right from the beginning to the end, you can never forget in your entire lifetime. So just 3 steps you need to understand, 3 things you need to understand, and 3 steps to cross. What are they? And they are: number 1, concept, number 2, rules, and number 3, and the final one is the tricks. So suppose one sentence has been given. Now what thing to understand, what thing to follow? Just you follow whether the voice of a verb in a sentence indicates whether the subject is doer of the action or the receiver of the action. Just one thing you follow, whether the subject is doer of the action or the receiver of the action. If the subject is doer of the action in the sentence, then the sentence is said to be in active voice. If the subject in the sentence is the receiver of the action, then the sentence is said to be in passive voice. So I think there will be no more problem. And next, another thing that you should learn, we know only the transitive sentences have their property of voice. That is, only transitive sentence can be converted into other form of voice. That is, it has its voice property of voice. An intransitive sentence does not have the property of voice. We cannot convert intransitive sentence into the form of voice. Just for example, the wind blows. It is intransitive sentence. Just you should know for actually for sure. It is intransitive sentence because the wind blows. Here the action does not pass from subject to object. And transitive sentence is that in which the action passes from subject to object. That is transitive sentence. That will while explaining the tricks. Then I will explain in detail about that, how actually the action passes from subject to object. And just this much you know now for some time being, that the sentence in which the action passes from subject to object is a transitive sentence, and the sentence in which the action does not pass from subject to object is intransitive sentence. We should know the rules. What are the rules? The rules are very simple. Suppose just 2 rules I have actually categorically divided into. So one is A, one is B. Under A, the rules that come, that is object in active voice. That is the first rule that you should follow. While converting, you should identify which is subject, which is verb, which is object. Gone. Next, you should follow the object in active voice becomes subject in passive voice. That's why the number 1 rule in the process of conversion from active to passive, and we as a beginner, we should learn first how to convert active into passive, and then after that, when we become the master of it, then we will try to convert passive into active. So as part of the first rule that comes, first, after identifying which is subject, which is verb, which is object in the sentence that has been given for us to convert or transform into passive, after that we should ensure, or we should bring, which is object in active voice. The object in active voice becomes subject in passive voice. And next, number 2, the be verb or helping verb or modal verb. Be verb, helping verb or modal verb. So this is the number 2 place. Number 3 place is the V3 or VPP. V3 or VPP, that is past participle form of verb, that we know Go, went, gone. So gone is the third form of the verb or past participle form of the verb go. See, saw, seen. See is the root form of the verb, saw is the past form of the verb, and seen is the past participle form of the verb. That is, this past participle form of the verb is used while converting active into passive. Next comes number 4, by, and next and the last one, the subject of active voice becomes object in passive voice. These are the general rules that come under rule A. And next there are some other rules that come under rule B that I have described here. So the pronouns which are used in active voice, they are changed while they go to passive voice. So as for example here, I in active voice becomes me in passive voice, we becomes us, he becomes him, she becomes her, they becomes them. So these are generally the rules that you should know before going to convert active into passive. Now, my dear students, let you go to the next step. How to solve the tricks, and just you follow me if you understand, and I think you can understand because these are very simple, very simple. So just you follow one very simple sentence I have taken for you to proper understanding. Suppose first example that I have taken is Salman plays tennis. First job is to do while converting. Salman is subject, plays is the verb, and tennis is object. So now subject, verb, object. Now what is the rule? Just right hand side I have explained how to convert and what is the conversion form, what is the passive form of this sentence. So here you see, how can you understand this sentence is in active or passive? First rule is that subject, when the subject is the doer of the action, who plays tennis? Salman plays tennis. So Salman is the subject here, that's why it is in active voice. So how to convert into passive? According to the rules just we came to know, that is first object is tennis here, tennis object in active voice becomes subject in passive voice. So tennis is the object in active voice that comes in the place of number 1, and tennis becomes the subject of passive voice. Number 2, the main verb is plays here. The plays, if the main verb is in present tense, the plays is in present tense. So if the main verb is in present tense, then it will be present tense be verb at number 2. Present tense be verb. So present tense be verb is, you know, present tense be verb is am, is, are. So as the subject is tennis, third person singular number, so only is matches or goes with it. So tennis is. Number 2 is complete. Number 3, we know the VPP. VPP, what is the past participle form of the verb plays? Plays, past participle form of the verb is played. So number 3 is played. Number 4, you know, according to the rules, by is used. And number 5, subject of active voice goes to the place of object in passive voice. So Salman is the subject here and goes to the place of object and it becomes object. So you see, if the sentence is, if the active voice is Salman plays tennis, the answer is tennis is played by Salman. Now, if there are other different kinds of forms, suppose subject is there same, but what subject is there, we should not worry about that. We should only the form or the place that changes with the change of the verb and not other changes are taking place. Just for example, if the sentence is not Salman plays tennis, if the sentence is Salman played tennis, what changes will take place or what changes will occur in passive voice? Just in the place of verb. So Salman subject and tennis is object. So tennis comes here first, and then at number 2, past tense, that is the be verb will be used here. So verb is here played. Plays is in past tense. If the main verb in active voice is in past tense, then there will be past tense be verb in passive voice. So past tense be verb is was and were. And tennis is third person singular number. With this was matches. So was goes with tennis. So the answer is Salman played tennis. If the sentence is this, the answer would be tennis was played by Salman. And other part will remain the same. Only the part of the verb, that is number 2 part, step number 2, that will change with the change of the verb. And subject and object and other part will remain the same. And if instead of not plays and played, if instead of this it is it can play, Salman can play tennis. If it is the sentence, then what will be the answer? And we know can whatever modal verb is used in active voice, they become actually can becomes can be, will becomes will be, shall becomes shall be, should becomes should be. So naturally tennis, if the sentence is, if the question is Salman can play tennis, the answer will be tennis can be played by Salman. If instead of, if it is not there, if the sentence is Salman will play tennis, then the answer will be tennis will be played by Salman. And if the question is Salman is playing tennis, then the main verb is in continuous tense. You see, if the main verb is in continuous tense, generally after the helping verb being is used, and other part remains the same. So tennis is being played by Salman. And if it is not that, and if it is there, Salman was playing tennis, if it is the past tense, then naturally whatever be verb is used in active voice, the same be verb will go to passive voice. So in that case, Salman was playing tennis. Salman was playing tennis. The answer would be tennis was being played by Salman. Okay. Next is there helping verb is given here. Salman has played tennis. If the sentence is that Salman has played tennis, answer will be tennis has been. Has or have becomes has or have been in passive voice. So Salman has the answer. These are the changes that take place only if we know the rules, and if we know only the verb place, that is the second phase, second part takes changes with the change of the verb, and other parts almost remains the same. So we should not worry about that. Only that part we should concentrate, and other parts will remain the same. So next, if we take some other examples of other kind of sentence, that is imperative sentence. Imperative sentence, as we know, that the sentence that begins with verb, and imperative sentence is used to make command, order, or request. So in that case, what are the rules and what are the ways to change it into passive? So for example, just one example I have taken here, obey the rules. What are the rules? How to change imperative sentence into passive voice? There are two ways. First way is that according to the rules, at number 1, that let is used, and then number 2 is object is used. After let, number 2 object, number 3 be is used, number 4 third form of the verb. So naturally, obey the rules. What will be the answer? Number 1 place let is used, number 2 object comes, the rules is the object here, number 3 be is used, and number 4 obeyed, that is past participle form of the verb obey, that is obeyed. So if the question is obey the rules, answer is let the rules be obeyed. Okay, and this we can form in another way, because in some boards, particularly ICSE, questions are sometimes asked not directly that change the voice. It is given sometimes begin the sentence with, or change the sentence, transform the sentence beginning with, or transform the sentence end with. So in this way, if it is so, suppose the question is obey the rules and the instruction is given that begin the sentence, change the sentence beginning with you, suppose. In that case, how can you solve it? Yes, very easy. In that case, this imperative sentence, in general cases, in case of the sentence that is used to express command or order, in that case you are asked to, you are ordered to, and then whatever question is given, the obey the rules. Whatever question is given here, obey the rules is the question. But in that case, you are asked to, or you are ordered to, or you are commanded to, and then whatever sentence is given, that is repeated. And if instead of that, if there is please, obey the rules please, and in that case you are requested to, and then whatever sentence, whatever question is given, that is put there, or that is used there. That is exactly whatever is the question, that is used there after that. Or we can also solve obey the rules please. If it is the question, then we can solve let the rules be obeyed, comma, then please. This is also another way to solve. Okay, so now next, if we go to other form, how can we solve? There are, I have taken some other examples so that we can completely cover the actually voice change, complete area I can cover, and I have tried here to cover the maximum area. Suppose an exclamatory sentence has been given. for you to solve. And here we one example I have taken. So if it is so, exclamatory sentence, we know exclamatory sentence is used to express our feelings, strong feelings, sorrow, grief, pain, joy, happiness, etc. So here the example that I have taken is, alas, we shall hear her voice no more. This is the exclamatory sentence. In that case, what is the rule? General rule is generally followed. In case of exclamatory, if you identify, and before going to convert any sentence, first you should identify what is what. Alas, what is this? It is note of exclamation, that is exclamatory word or exclamatory, that is the words or the expressions which are used in exclamatory sentence. Next, we is the subject, shall is modal verb, here is the main verb, her voice is object, and no more is phrase. This is the first duty to complete. Second duty, then in exclamatory sentence, these exclamatory expressions that remains the same, in the same place, in the same way. So alas remains alas with note of exclamation. Then comes object, her voice. Object comes here. Then after we, shall is used, but after her voice, the person singular number, will is used. Okay, so this is the subject verb agreement. Her voice and shall or will become shall or will be. So her voice will be, and then what is the main verb? Main verb is here, and main verb is here. So past participle form of the verb here is heard, and then the whatever phrase is used here, no more, because we generally subject becomes object in passive voice, subject in active voice becomes object in passive voice, but here we is indefinite subject, and in case of passive voice generally indefinite subject does not go to the passive voice, but sometimes in the preliminary stages you can use. So in that case, alas, her voice will be heard by us, no more by us. Her voice can be heard no more by us. Okay, this is the next comes interrogative sentence. Interrogative sentence is, as we know, the sentence through which we make question. We ask question. Similarly, here we have taken one example. Who told you this? Here in interrogative sentence, how to change voice? That is, what is the voice rule of conversion of interrogative sentences? So here, who told you this? It is the interrogative sentence. First, we should identify what is what. Who is the WH word? Then told is the verb. You is the object, and this is another object. As we know, you is written here IO, that is indirect object, and this is direct object. And in that case, how to solve? So we know the transformation of voice of interrogative sentence. At first, who becomes by whom. Next, helping verb or be verb is used. As told is the main verb, so here the be verb of told is the past tense, so be verb of this verb is where or was. But here where will be used, because after that the object which comes, it is you. You is the indirect object. So if I bring, or if we bring you, then with you where is used, not was. So that's why by whom were you. Now third form of the verb told, third form of the verb is told. So by whom were you told. Then another object, that is the direct object, which is otherwise called here the retained object. That is, in what place it was there, it is retained its position. Actually it retains its position, that is this is used at last, and then question mark is used, because interrogative sentence, if active voice is interrogative sentence, answer, that is passive voice, will also be interrogative sentence. And this, so first we brought indirect object and then direct object, and in that case if you interchange, that is if we bring direct object first and indirect object after that, then one preposition additional or extra to be added, that is 2, and in that case what will be the answer? Who told you this? By whom was this told to you? Then interrogative sign. Okay, then let's we proceed. Now there are some other kinds of sentences that we sometimes face. In that case, how can you solve, which do not accept the general rules? So I have given some examples. As for example, it is time to close the shops. It is like one example. How to solve them? In that case, in such cases, it is time is the phrase, so to say, and it will remain the same in the same place. Then for is used. Then the object comes here, the shops, and then after that the passive form, that is to To close is the verb to close is infinitive, and that becomes to be closed, perfect infinitive, so to say. So it is time to close the shops. The answer is it is time for the shops to be closed. So in this way, such kind of example, if we practice, it will be easy for us to understand. Another example that I have taken, that is honey tastes sweet. It is the example of quasi-passive voice. It is the half passive. Quasi-passive means half passive. In that case, how can we solve? Honey tastes sweet. Here, this is very easy, and this does not actually accept the normal or general rules. So honey tastes sweet. Here, whatever subject is given here, that will remain. Then if the main verb is in present tense, then the present tense be verb is used according to subject. So after honey, present tense be verb is used, and then whatever adjective is used here, sweet, that will remain here, that will come here. So honey tastes sweet, honey is sweet. This is the general. And if the main verb is past tastes, it becomes honey was. Okay, and then when is used. Honey tastes sweet when? Generally when it is tasted. When it is tasted. And if the subject is plural, then it becomes they or these. Okay, and then according to the helping verb, whatever helping verb will be used here, and that will come directly after that here. And then third form of the verb taste. That is the main verb is here tastes, and third form of the verb is tasted. So if the question is honey tastes sweet, answer is honey is sweet when it is tasted. So these are the general rules, and the more we practice, the more we will gain perfection in our field. Please solve them and send in my comment box. And if you please understood, please subscribe it and press the bell icon, so that as soon as I upload my new video, you can immediately enjoy its benefit, and it reaches immediately to your end, and you can get the benefit of it. Okay, thank you very much. Bye. Till next we meet again in my next video.